Egypt is the most populous
a heavyweight in the region.
Exactly. Egypt is the most populous Arab nation, and it is its most strategic and excellent country. And that is why he started with Egypt. Nobody can deny that, and this point is not different but opinions. This is one point. The second reason for Putin's visit at this specific time lies in that Putin himself wanted to assure the world that Russia is not personally and economically isolated despite the crisis in Ukraine, because everybody knows that the Western countries, specifically the US, Germany, France, and Britain, imposed hard economical sanctions on Moscow due to its situation in Ukraine.
We have with us over the phone Excellency Ambassador Samir Burhan to share us the discussion. Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us live on the daily debate. More about the fruits of this important visit by the Russian president to Egypt, as you see it, the outcome of the visit, and how can we build on what has been achieved? Mr. Ambassador.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Ambassador.
Yes, how are you, madam?
How are you, sir? We were talking, we have with us Excellency Ambassador Nabil Al Orabi, former ambassador of Egypt to Moscow, and Mr. Zakaria Osman, the journalist at Al Daily, and we're discussing the outcome of President Putin's visit to Egypt. How do you see the fruit of this visit, and how far can we add and build on this important sense of partnership that has been achieved?
First of all, Madam, would you convey my greetings to Ambassador Nabil Al Orabi and his friend, because he is a very good friend of mine. This is one thing. The other thing, I think the visit by President Putin to Egypt were very successful, as was displayed by the Egyptian media and the Russian media. So I think we can build on this successful visit to bolster and to uphold the relationship between Russia and Egypt in all spheres, like the economic sphere, the military sphere, even the cultural, and we are going to send back some scholars of Egypt to Russia to study there, and we are open as well to the Russian tourism in Cairo. I think the prospects of the relationship between Russia and Egypt is very prosperous, and we are convinced that this successful visit will be built on for good and successful relationships in the future.
Right. Well, the visit also came before Egypt holds this important economic conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. So how do you expect the Russian contribution to this important event?
I think not only the Russian contribution, but I think the Arab contributions and the other European countries' contribution. I think we have an eye on this economic conference in Sharm el-Sheikh next month in March. I think it will be in March. So I think the participation of the Russian delegation, or the participation of the Russian investors in this very important conference to Egypt, I think will give also a nudge to the relationship between Egypt and Russia, and beside the other investors as well from the Arab countries, from the other European countries. So I think this will be a major step forward for the Arab-Egyptian-Russian relationship.
Right. Excellency Ambassador Samir Burhan, thank you very much for talking to us. Mr. Ambassador, your comment.
Well, as a matter of fact, I would like to stress upon the timing of the visit, because Putin was smart enough to choose a month before Sharm el-Sheikh conference to come and put his hand on the cream of the cake. First, they reached an agreement on the nuclear power of Daba.
Right.
Second, free zone area on Ataka,
right,
which is very close to Suez Canal and the new
the
projects
access of the
around
new project.
Offering, exporting gas to Egypt, and wheat, as a matter of fact, is very important to the Egyptians. So these were the very quick results of the meeting and visit of Putin to Cairo.
Right. Mr. Ambassador, will continue discussion about the strategic partnership between Egypt and Russia, what it means to the whole world. How about the world reactions? How can we build on what has been achieved here between Cairo and Moscow? And how will this important visit reflect on Egyptian-U.S. relations and U.S.-Russian relations more after this report? Will be continuing our lengthy discussion. Stay with us.
At a joint news conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi announced that Egypt has established a free trade zone with the Russian-led Euro-Asian Economic Union, which includes Russia, Armenia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan. Putin said that there was more than $4.5 billion American dollars of trade between Russia and Egypt in 2014, a more than 80% increase on the year before, noting that now it will be easier for the Egyptian products to reach the markets of Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Armenia, and vice versa. The possibility of setting up a free trade zone with Europe was discussed by Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan last summer at a conference in Sochi. The two countries also agreed to create a Russian industrial zone near the Suez Canal. Russian businesses have stakes in more than 400 Egyptian companies. Russia and Egypt will work jointly on new investment projects, especially in transport, manufacturing, energy, both oil and nuclear. Russia will also help Egypt build and develop a nuclear power plant and train personnel to create a nuclear power industry in the country. At the press conference, Sisi said that both countries signed a memorandum of understanding to build the plant, along with other agreements signed to boost Russian gas sales and investment in Egypt. Putin said that if final decisions were made, it would mean not just building a nuclear power plant, it means also the creation of the entire new atomic industry in Egypt. The new plant will be built in Ad-Dab'a on the site of an existing research reactor built by the Soviets during the 1950s. In comments carried by Russian news agency, Sergei Kirienko, the head of Russia's state-owned nuclear company, said that the plant would be equipped with 4 1,200 megawatt reactors.
We're back and still discussing Egyptian-Russian sense of partnership. Ambassador Orabi, this sense of partnership is also going to include a defense line on behalf of both Cairo and Moscow in combating terrorism. Egypt and Russia are one hand.
That's right. I would like to stress that in the absence of United States in Egypt for some time, calling the Muslim Brotherhood
the Brotherhood terrorist organization,
a non-terrorist organization. I would like to explain how is the stand of Putin concerning terrorism. Moscow suffered a lot in the Shisha for the try of separation from Shishan out of Russia. Russia, we know, it includes 89 provinces. If Shishan would ask for independence, so the other 89 will come after. So Moscow didn't find Shishan because they are Muslims. He was not, Putin was not fighting Shishan religion, Islam. He was against the separation of a province within Russia to be independent.
Right.
This is completely different. So he suffered a lot from the terrorism in Shishan. That's why when he came with an idea. He knows that what's terrorism within the country. While the Washington stand was completely different. This is an important point towards. So when Putin came, he found the stage open for him. $3 billion ready to come to a deal within armaments. Egypt is coming on a area of developing economy.
Right.
So and he's ready to participate. That's why it gives you an idea why the visit was successful in this area.
Right, it's a win-win situation, Mr. Zakaria.